Tales of the Jedi, the newest animated Star Wars product from Disney on Disney Plus. Dave, you were excited for this one, right?
I was, yeah. This was only announced earlier this year at Star Wars Celebration. Unexpected, but more Star Wars animation in the Clone Wars animation style from Dave Filoni, of course, the creator of Clone Wars. Really, the way it was pitched, as this kind of like more anthology, smaller scope series. It's like, it's almost like more Clone Wars, truthfully. And obviously, Clone Wars has a rabid and loyal fan base. To get anything close to more Clone Wars is very welcome. But I actually was quite impressed with, I think, the kind of like narrative aims of Tales of the Jedi, which is a series of 6 shorts, and it's only about 90 minutes in total runtime. So definitely different than Clone Wars, different than Star Wars Visions. It's a new kind of uh, product or type of content, TV content from them. But these like dueling paths where you have this Ahsoka Tano storyline and this Count Dooku storyline, and like the thematic through line that they are able to weave in over the course of these again short running episodes. I was pretty impressed with that, and more than anything, now Tales of the Jedi as like a anthology animated Star Wars property is quite intriguing in terms of the other possibilities that are still out there to be used in this way. So, if this is the only version of Tales of the Jedi and we don't get any more, still pretty content. But yeah, in general, I was anticipating this, but still surprised actually with what we did get.
Yeah, I was not expecting. Well, when I saw it was an anthology, I guess I hadn't done my research on it, but I wasn't expecting it to be an Ahsoka Count Dooku, like you know, two tales of different Jedi
Mm.
going different directions, and I think similarly, the little I know of Ahsoka's background, from like reading up on it, she also like doesn't totally accept like the Jedi Order, right? And like, so I guess
Yep,
it's like
she
talking.
leaves the Jedi towards the end of the Clone Wars season 6, and that's why she isn't directly killed in Order 66. More of that's explained in Clone Wars as well. But yeah, she leaves the Order uh, before Anakin's turn. So that was obviously a big thing, and of course, people know Count Dooku leaves the Order as well and joins up with Palpy.
And so I think it makes sense to follow them, just not what I expected at all. And I think you also get some just like cool moments with some characters that people want to spend more time with, right? You get the some moments with young Qui Gon as well as older Qui Gon as we see him in Phantom Menace.
Hmm.
Actually, right before Phantom Menace,
Yep.
you see Yaddle voiced by Bryce Dallas Howard, which I mean didn't expect to be getting some Yaddle like fill in here, but it's pretty cool to like get her story built out a little bit more, and to not have her just be like female Yoda, to actually be like a real character is kind of
Speak
nice.
on it, bro. That is the highlight of Tales of the Jedi right there, episode 4. Um, Even separating the Yaddle aspect aside for a second, that I think is so compelling to the Star Wars fan, which is to get an episode of TV centered directly around the events of the Phantom Menace. That is so cool, and we love that shit. Like that was what was great about some of Clone Wars season 7 was because it was in and around Revenge of the Sith. Like it feels like more movie in a sense, and it's just so compelling to a fan for in that regard. And on top of that, to give Yaddle a canon death because Yaddle was her fate was unknown in the new canon. She had a different death in the expanded universe. So like to find a way to actually give her a really compelling and effective death, which also adds to Dooku's story as well, adds to the Phantom Menace. Like is not something I would have expected from this series, but like I think it's an amazing like creative decision to do something like that with one small short.
Completely agree. I was really surprised, but welcome to see that. And you also get a little bit more time with like Anakin, and Obi-Wan has a brief cameo, just kind of like remarking on Ahsoka's like powers and abilities, which I thought was really nice. And Yeah, I found myself enjoying it. I mean, I think I certainly was way more interested in the Ahsoka stuff than the Count Dooku stuff. Just like Dooku is such a buzzkill to be with, whether it's in that first episode when he's just like he's so dry,
Yeah.
like as a character, it's not as fun. And I guess Ahsoka is not necessarily like a barrel of laughs, but I think just based on her allegiances and some of the characters she's interacting with, I was more interested. But like seeing Dooku basically being like bad cop with Qui-Gon and bad cop with Mace Windu back to back was kind of fun to watch
Yeah.
for sure.
Totally. Totally. And yeah, like I said, episode 4, like literally seeing Dooku like sneak into the archives and delete Kamino, which of course is a direct setup for what happens 10 years later in Attack of the Clones, like that's just compelling to me as a hardcore fan. Um a lot of jokes online. Yaddle speaks normal English, speaks normal basics, so Yoda is just a weirdo for the way he
Yeah,
speaks, I guess is the takeaway, because it doesn't seem to be a species thing that he picked up, through his scientific existence. That was also, I think, unexpected comedy.
I think it's the sort of thing where people have different dialects and ways of speaking, even on the in the United States. So yeah,
Yep,
sometimes people are
we'll
going to
go
talk
with that.
different. That's all right.
Yep,
I still still
totally.
still love my guy Yoda. Come on,
Yeah, a lot of chatter online about doing like a Tales of the Sith, like sister sequel series to Tales of the Jedi, and upon further review, seeing like Palpatine like kill off Darth Plagueis, which also happens right around Phantom Menace, like there is some juicy material along that, because I think anything like that that like colors in the story we do know is just fun. So like I said,
for
episode
sure.
4 is pretty probably my highlight there, and the last one, episode 6 with Ahsoka, retreads a little bit of ground from one of the novels, but um, also pretty compelling. So in general, I was just impressed with how much they were able to, like, I think, achieve dramatically with the short runtime, given that Clone Wars in and of itself is a pretty uh, self-contained and effective long-form story. Like the fact that you could somehow add to that in such a short amount of time is my main takeaway. And now looking ahead, Star Wars Visions is coming back in 2023, so Star Wars animation, perhaps doesn't get quite as much of the fanfare as the live action Disney Plus series, but still, I think, a important component to that Star Wars storytelling.
Completely agree. And just to circle back to your point about the short form, I mean, this feels like something they can just like roll out for any story that they want to, just build out these characters in these short forms. I mean, people want it. And I think this is getting a lot of praise. So why not,
Right.
Uh,
Totally. And I think it's pretty clear like what their aims are with this. Where Tales of the Jedi, I think, is not super comprehensible to people that don't have pretty strong Star Wars knowledge and Clone Wars knowledge. Like the way like episodes stop and start, like you know you might not know that was young Qui-Gon with Dooku if you don't know that at the time Dooku is his master, right? Like he doesn't say Qui-Gon for quite some time in the
till the
episode,
very
right?
end.
Yeah. So like it doesn't hold your hand to a new fan. This is really like for the faithful.
Yeah.
So but they make so much stuff that I don't think there's an issue with making stuff just for the hardcore. So hope to see it continue in some way.